Am I a little late to the party here? Yeah. About a year late? Sounds about right. Am I gonna do it anyway? You betcha! Whew. This is an awesome headset, but there are some things about it that I would change. So in this video, we're gonna go over 4.5 things that you can do to improve your Oculus Quest. Hello humans, I'm Davis, otherwise known as your boy Fluffball, and you're watching Fluffball the Wizard. So let's talk accessories. I'm just gonna dive straight in. The first thing that most people do is get rid of this thing, the facial interface. Out of the box, this comes with kind of a textured foam, and it's reasonably comfortable, but it can get kinda itchy. So the most common way to fix this is with the VRcover leather facial interface. So this is the box that it comes in. We're gonna go ahead and open this up, and you get a few things that are squeezed into here. You have your manual, a little microfiber cloth, that's useful. And the way you install this, first you gotta get rid of this one. So what you do is you just pull it back, and it's gonna be scary, and you're gonna feel like you're breaking it, and it's gonna pop, but it's okay. That's supposed to happen. So you just keep pulling away at the edges. You just find the right places to pull. Eventually, this whole piece should come off. Your headset should look like this. Don't need this anymore. So now we pull out the replacement plastic part, which has Velcro on it. That's the other nice thing, is once you get one set of this, if you need replacement foam, you can just get the foam part and not have to buy the plastic anymore because it has Velcro. So what you're gonna do is make sure the opening is on the nose, and you just kind of put this in place. The way that I find best is to fold it in half inwards, and there's actually a little white line there that you can use to line up the center. So you just put that in the middle and just kind of fold it outwards. Hopefully, if you've done things right, everything should line up. And there we go, there's your new facial interface. So then all you do is simply snap it into place. So you're gonna want to apply pressure at the nose until that clicks into place, and on either side of the top strap here. Bada bing, bada boom. And just like that, you've got a fancy new foam leather thing for your headset. So we're gonna put this on, and immediately I am noticing that I misadjusted this a little bit, so I'm just gonna undo this Velcro in the places that need adjustment, tweak it as necessary. You might have to do this several times, that's perfectly okay, just get it as perfect as you possibly can. The thing to remember when working with comfort on your headset is any tiny discomfort that you experience during testing is going to be amplified 100-fold the more you play. So be sure to adjust everything to your liking. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Now, when you first get this, it might actually be a little bit less comfortable than the stock foam, but having used it for a while, I wouldn't go back. Like, I had to take this off and put the stock foam back on just for the intro to this video, and I was like, oh my gosh, what was I living with? Definitely recommend. One thing to note though, if light leak is a big deal to you, this has a lot of it. Because you can see with the stock facial foam, the whole thing is pretty smooth around the nose and this area, but with this, there's a giant gap there. So while it's physically a lot more comfortable, you're gonna get a ton of light leak down there. Now they do sell a bigger version of this foam, and I've heard that that kind of solves the problem, but honestly, I don't really mind that much. It's not too bad. Moving away from the headset for a minute, let's talk about controllers. I would say that this is the second most common thing people do. There are actually some grips that you can buy that improve the comfort of these, and more importantly, they allow you to get rid of these annoying wrist straps, because let's be honest, although they're helpful, nobody really likes them. Kind of like pants. Let me introduce you to the Mamut Touch grips. The idea of these things is pretty simple. You just put your controller in, and it comes with like a shoelace kind of thing that threads through these. Now, you're supposed to thread the wrist strap through this little hole in the bottom, but I'm not sure how they designed it to do that, because I cannot get it to go through for the life of me. Particularly this little adjuster thing here, which if you're gonna use the wrist strap, you kind of need that. But what's the point of having these if you're just going to use the wrist strap? So let's just get it off entirely. Now, this is something that nobody tells you. I could not find instructions of how to do this anywhere, so I'm going to tell you myself, because I figured it out, because this is a lot easier said than done. You're first going to take off the battery cover, and you can see in there that is meant to come out, but like if you pull on it and you wiggle it and you jiggle it, and it just won't come out. There is no way to get that thing out. It'll look like it's coming out, but then it gets stuck. So what the heck do you do? I was doing this at my desk, and I just, in exasperation, just looked around for anything that could help me. I looked at my little cubby and found my compass. Now, I'm sure you could use anything similar, maybe a very small screwdriver, or the probe tool that comes with my Little Spot Mini probably would have worked, but I think a compass actually works best here. So what you're gonna do is insert it into that little slot right beneath the strap. Make sure it goes all the way in, about 3 or 4 millimeters, and then just pry it up. And just like that, your strap is off. It's that easy. Let me just do that for the other one. Battery cover off, compass in, strap out. And now, look at these beautiful, unhindered controllers. These are looking so much better, a lot less safe to use, but that's where the touch grips come in handy. So the first thing you're gonna do is take your grip and the shoelace that comes with it, thread it through coming from the outside of the grip, and just pull till it's almost all the way there. Now, I'm gonna show you the way you're supposed to do it first, and then I'm gonna show you the way that I like better. So you're supposed to put your controller in here, make sure the strap is coming out the side of the ring that's facing you and not the other side, because you can actually mix up the controllers here. So then what you're gonna do is thread the shoelace around the loop and back through that little hole, just like so, and then you can tighten that up like this, and you've got yourself a nice little secure thing there. Once you've got that, you're gonna take this little piece that comes with it, put it into this slot like so, and then press this down and thread these shoelaces through it. This can be a little tricky, just takes some finagling. Oh yeah, when you thread the other one, make sure that it doesn't cross over this one, because that tends to happen a lot, and it's really annoying when you realize you're gonna have to do all that over again. So by the time you're done, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. And from there, you can just slip your hand in and kind of adjust this as necessary to the tension that you like. You want something tight enough that it'll hold on to your hand, but loose enough that you still have freedom of movement of your fingers. And there you go. That is how you properly install the Mamut Touch grips. These make things a lot more comfortable and more secure. For example, when playing things that you need to throw something, you can actually throw it and let go of your controller without it flying out of your hand. Overall, I just like this experience better. It's also great if you have larger hands, because originally the controller was kinda small. You can see the size difference here. So this will definitely fill up your hand a lot better. Now, what is the problem with this that we need a hack for? Let's say you're in the middle of a game and the battery in your controller dies. Normally, you would be able to just go like, okay, pause the game, slip the battery cover off, replace your battery, put it back on, like a professional, and you're done. But with these, this actually covers up the battery cover. It's a cover. So what the process looks like is you're gonna need to do all the steps I just did in reverse. You're gonna need to undo the shoelaces, put this somewhere, loosen up this knot, unthread these, take this off, then you open the battery cover, replace your battery, put the battery cover back on, and then do all these steps over again. You know, I'm not even gonna do it, you get the point. So there has got to be a better way. Now, I kept thinking, like, you can just thread these directly without going around the ring on the controller, and that makes a nice firm hold if you tighten it properly. And then you just put this in, adjusts to your liking, and you never have to worry about it again. It just slips on, slips off. Now, I was thinking of trying to design like kind of a quick release mechanism that I could 3D print that like clips onto here, and then when you put it on, there's like a hook that goes around here and you can just like push it off or something. But then I realized I was wildly overcomplicating things. Thankfully, before I actually did anything with it, unlike the last time I realized I was overcomplicating things. Dozens of hours, hundreds of wires, gone to waste. All this, ridiculous. Ugh, crap. All this, useless. But what we can do here is actually just use little Velcro strips. This was a very thin Velcro cable tie that I just cut in half. And what we can do is loosen this up a little bit, thread this through, make sure the soft side of the Velcro is facing out so that when it wraps around, you're not putting the scratchy side on the ring of your controller, because that's going to mar up the finish. So just thread that through. The sticky side is going to stick to the shoelaces. Just kind of pull it through. Just have like a little tiny bit sticking out there. So that way when you tighten the knot, it'll pull itself and you'll have about a quarter of it is what you're going for there. So then, when you slip it on, make sure that goes inside the ring, and then you simply wrap this around, secure it, and you're done. Now, as you can see, this is a little bit loose. This will come off, but if you push it in there, it actually does okay. Like you can see, if I put this on, adjust it, I can use this no problem. I can throw it, it's unfazed. This is good. So there you have the Mamut Touch grips, plus a little life hack to make things a bit easier. Alright, next we're gonna move back to the headset. Now this improvement I don't think is quite as common, but in my opinion it beats out the other two by a mile. I would do this above all other things. And that is adding a battery pack to the back. In my last review I was using this giant thing just kind of as a test, and I wasn't even running a cable to the headset, I was just using it as counterweight. And this is an absolute monster. It's a great battery pack, but not for this application. So I watched some reviews and found a link in one of the descriptions to this little gem. This is the Anker PowerCore something, or I'll put it on the screen. But this is amazing. It's absolutely tiny, weighs a good amount, and lasts for freaking ever. You can play for hours and hours with this. So let me demonstrate why you need a counterweight. If you know anything about the Oculus Quest, you know it's a very top-heavy headset by design. To demonstrate this, I can hold it by the top strap and you can see it just falls. If we try to find the balance point, you can see it's maybe right about there. Yeah, that is past the face of the user. That's not good. That is going to weigh down on your face. Everything is just going to feel like it's drooping. Very uncomfortable to play for long periods of time. But by using a battery, you also get the bonus of being plugged in and longer playtime. But even if you don't have a battery, just anything heavy that fits on the back of here will still make worlds of difference. And let me demonstrate. So here's two more Velcro cable ties that I found. These ones are a little bit thicker than the ones I was using on the Mamut. Doesn't really matter. So we're just gonna stick this on the back, run these around, make sure they are nice and tight. You want these about as tight as you can possibly get them, so that way the battery doesn't slide around while you're playing. Also, I forgot to mention, with these straps you are gonna want the soft side out. If you put the rough side out, that might get caught in your hair. But there we go, that is looking pretty solid, not sliding around or anything. And first of all, can I just say, with this pack in particular, look how well it blends with the rest of the headset. This looks like it came with it. Absolutely glorious. But more importantly, look at the balance point. That is right on the top of your head, exactly where you want it. And I cannot describe the difference it makes in gameplay. It is so much more comfortable. In comparison, it feels like you're not even wearing a headset. If you do nothing else from this video, do this. I cannot recommend it enough. So now we come to the half of the 4.5 things in this video. Because the battery is great, but if you want to actually use the battery, you're going to need a cable to get from the battery to the front of the headset. First of all, you're going to want to make sure that the power output is on the same side as the headset, which I have mistakenly not done, so I'm just gonna flip this around So now the power output and the headset input are on the same side. Now, the cable that you use for this, you could just use the built-in 10-foot cable, but I think excessive is an understatement for that. So I searched high and low on Amazon to find the best cable that would fit this. I took some measurements, read all sorts of reviews, looked at prices, and this is the best thing that I could find. Now, this is actually not one cable. This is actually one cable plus an adapter. I will put links in the description to both of these along with everything else in this video. I highly recommend them. They're at a great price and they've worked for months really well. But this one is about a foot USB-C male to male with a right angle on one end. And then this is a USB-C simple right angle adapter. And these come in a 2-pack, so if one breaks you can use the other one, or you can use it for another application if you want. But what you're gonna do is stick this onto the end that doesn't have a right angle, so that way you've got 2 right angles. And then doesn't matter which end you plug in where, but this fits perfectly. This is the perfect length to go on your headset here, and you can see that that is charging. You can see the light on the headset, and if I just put this on, you can see that fits perfectly. It's not obtrusive, it's not obstructing anything. You can't notice a weight difference or feel it slapping around or anything. I would say it looks pretty good. So I think this cable combination is going to be your best bet. Now, one thing I do want to note when using this, don't always have it plugged in. That's bad for the battery and the headset. So keep it unplugged until you get the low battery notification in your headset and then plug it in, because going through that cycle is the proper way to use LiPo batteries. Also, the battery does come with this nice mesh case if you want to store it somewhere if you don't always want to use it. But I think that is about everything for the actual products. So the last thing in this video I'm going to go over is the travel case for these. So here is the travel case that I also forget the name of and I'll put on the screen, but this thing is great. If we just open it up, you can see it's already got some dirt and some wear in it because I've been using it so much. For example, this little pouch is starting to come off a little bit. It still works, so I don't mind, but be aware that that's a thing that can happen. Other than that though, this thing is great and more importantly will fit all the accessories I showed you today. So if we just grab our headset and stick it in there with the battery, mind you, the key to getting this to work is to shove these straps in, the little adjuster straps on the side, and that'll cause these to stick out, so you just tuck those into place. And then the top strap here is going to kind of fold in on itself, that's fine. Then you just apply the Velcro to keep it in place, and there's your headset. Now the controllers go in this side, so you just pull up that elastic, slide them right in, and that works great. So now you can see those are nice and securely in place. Now this is the mesh bag that comes with the Quest, and inside I've got the 10-foot cable that comes with the Quest, the power brick adapter, 2 spare batteries for the controllers, and the cable for the battery that I bought. So that can just go right here. And then if you've done everything correctly, you should be able to fold this up. The controller rings will go between the bag and the back of the headset. The battery will fold into the back. You're gonna need to finagle that a little bit, but it'll fit. Smoosh everything down, zip it up, and there you go. Your headset is ready to take on the road. And once you get there, you just open it up again, just like so, and all your stuff is perfectly intact. So I have taken this on a number of adventures, and it does really well. It's extremely compact. Like, the fact that you can fit a VR headset, a backup battery, 2 controllers, and a mesh bag with everything else in a case the size of a basketball. That is insane. However, that does mean it actually takes up a lot more space than it looks like. Because like a basketball, imagine trying to put a basketball in your backpack. Like, it'll fit, but it doesn't play nice with other flat things. Because, like, the reason this looks so much more compact than it is because this face is flat and doesn't take up a lot of area, and this side is reasonably thin, and there's also this colored separating lines, so you're only drawn to half of it at a time. But in actuality, if you look at its widest point, it's actually about as wide this way as it is this way. So you're gonna have a tough time squeezing that between, like, if you have some binders, or if your backpack is normally just really thin. So if you don't want to just carry it separately, which also works great, just keep that in mind. Otherwise, I think that about does it for this video. There you have my 4.5 things to improve your Oculus Quest. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you can click the like button, and you can also share this video too. If you have something you want to show me, or you just want occasional posts and updates, I'm on Twitter @FluffTheWiz, so go bug me over there. If you like most of the stuff I make here, you can subscribe to this channel, and if you want to support me further, you can go to patreon.com/fluffballthewizard, or click the link in the description to visit my Patreon page. You just sign up for whatever you can afford. Every dollar counts. I can't do my projects without you guys, and you will get some exclusive benefits, which will improve as more of you sign up. Thanks for watching, and until next time, make a thing, sing a song, virtually hug a person, and I'll see you in the next video. People do with the Oculus Quest. Touch grip, this little piece that without going around the or click the lick. I need sleep.